Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Soulprism Podcast, where we share bite-sized nuggets of wisdom for your body, mind, and soul to serve you, the emerging soulpreneur. My name is Tammy Mack, and I'm really excited about today because it is the Human Design New Year, and I have Erin Hines, who is a business architect and human design specialist and founder of Darn Good Business Coach, helping high-achieving women break free from overfunctioning and lead with calm, clear, and unapologetic authority. Welcome, Erin.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
So I'm curious, what are you excited about this year?
This year, I think what I'm most excited about is the last, I don't know, it was last year, maybe like May, June. I just wasn't feeling as lit up. I'm a generator, and I started noticing my energy was a little too much pushing and forcing. And for the first time ever, which was very difficult, I actually just stopped. I not necessarily stopped with clients, but I stopped trying to be everywhere, trying to be constantly pushing out content, doing all the things. And I just stripped it all back and really got clear on who am I now? What has changed? What actually do I want to be doing in my business, in my life? I kind of been in my business at that point for about 3 years. And it felt like it was time to reevaluate things. Where was I just on autopilot, so used to doing things? And maybe something shifted, and I kind of just dropped a bunch of things that just were no longer really exciting me. And I did about that 6 months. And then December, I started coming out of my little shell and okay, let's see who's out here. And it was not necessarily the best time because it was the holidays, but it was also just a time I just felt my excitement, my little fire inside of me started burning again. And so this year, I am so excited to just start showing up however feels good to me. Just stop doing what I think I should be doing. Tune out all that noise of oh, you need to do this, that, and the other to be successful. And I'm well, I don't actually want to do any of that. And I'm actually going to embrace that, step into that power of just this is who I am. This is how I want to show up. This is what I want to do with my life. And yeah, it might not look like what you want to do, or you don't believe I could be successful this way, but part of me just kind of wants to prove everyone wrong and be hey, I could do it my way, and I could be so damn successful and so lit up and just living my fullest life. And so this year, I'm just so excited to see what I'm capable of and what is going to just come into my field and be able to respond to, and all the opportunities that might come my way. And there's not necessarily a lot of planning or goal setting. That's just never really been me, but I want to just allow life to come and play in that realm. And it's really exciting for me.
Oh, I love that so much. First of all, because last year was the year of the snake, and it was a year of shedding our skin and shedding what no longer serves us. It's funny that your timeline, because I kind of did the same thing. May, June, I sold my house of 20 years. I left the nest instead of the other way around. I left the nest and I rewilded in the mountains for about 3 months. I lived in a tent, and I had to really rewild. And then coming back, I was okay, well, who am I now? Because I'm not, the healthcare worker. I'm not the, you're always a mother, but I'm not, a stay-at-home, or I'm not mothering anymore. And there was that, release of that, but who am I now? And so I really love that you also went through that journey. And now that we are into 2026, and it is the year of the fire horse. And as you say, you are lit up about who it is that you are becoming in this year. Now, are you the left angle cross of Contagion or the right angle cross of Contagion?
The right angle.
The right angle cross of Contagion. So tell me what that is and how you move through that.
For me, I have to admit, this energy is not at all how I was raised. I think so many of us are not raised in this energy, but it's so much about what I desire, what lights me up, what I want to actually devote myself to. But then also it's so much energy about Someone said I'm allergic to like imitation, and I'm like, ooh, I really felt that. And so it's like this energy of it's part of it. What I struggled with it was that it feels somewhat selfish to focus on my desires, what actually I want to devote myself to, but it's not. It's like I do realize now it's so much more than that. It's what I devote myself to gives me more energy and I can spread that, give other people energy. Like I understand that now, but it's something I still kind of struggle with, like paying attention to what I actually want. And I think that's what I was doing back, June of last year, like really tapping into what am I desiring, but it's also I'm capable of doing. I have the energy. I could do whatever I decide to do, but it's like, is it actually coming from like a heart-centered place? Because in my deconditioning journey, I am so much my head. And it's so hard to tap out of my head, like being able to realize, okay, no, this is my heart speaking. This is like my gut speaking, like it tapping into my body and understanding, okay, is it really my head like trying to talk me out of it? Or is this coming from like a really grounded, heart-centered place? And I think it's definitely been a journey. I'm still trying to tap into and understand the difference between my head and my heart. But it feels so good. And like allowing myself to have that space to really tap into my body. And I think that's one of the biggest things I have never done. I think most people don't. At least a lot of the people I work with, we're so go, go, go focused on exactly what we need to get done, what's happening next. And we're not just sitting there, really feeling into what's my body telling me. And so I think that was the most powerful thing, is giving myself that space to tap in and really feel into this energy, just where do I feel most like lit up and excited? And it's, I shouldn't say it's a struggle, because it's like I do know what does light me up, but it's understanding the difference between like, is this coming from a place of like true desire or something I just think I should be doing? And kind of blending all these together to really find my grounded peace, and understanding that however my journey is going to like unfold, it's not going to look like everyone else. And that is what excites me, and leaning into that more, because I really don't like, a lot of the typical, ways we're supposed to market ourselves, the ways we're supposed to, dress and show up in the world. I kind of like want to rebel against all that. And now understanding where that's coming from, it's not just something that, it's something deep inside me. That's where it's coming from. And I think understanding that, and again, leaning really into it is kind of just a fun journey. And I think being able to put words to it, I think is the biggest shift in me. Being able to put words to why I'm feeling this way has shifted everything.
Mm. What is your conscious sun?
It's 29.
29.
No, it's 29. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you have, I get really, really excited. First of all, because I can feel your contagion. I can feel your fire. I can feel your passion. And I love your rebel energy, right? I love that so much. And I can feel that from you. I don't want to do what everyone else is doing. I don't want to do what I've been told to do, because I'm feeling the exact same way, which is why I downloaded Rise of the Soulpreneur. It's because it's like, we're not doing, 2026 is not business as usual anymore. I'm off of the social media now. I don't do social media anymore. I'm not playing to algorithms. I'm not playing to people that are so in their heads and dopamine driven that they can't make a correct decision for themselves. And what really excited me about what you were saying is like, I know that I've lived in my head for so many years now, and it's hard to find that discernment between my head and my gut, or my head and my heart, right? They say that the longest path is from our head to our heart. And you being a generator, a sacral being, I'm curious, how do you connect to your sacral? What does the sacral buzz feel to you? And do you listen to your sacral?
The listening has been, that's a whole nother thing. But like, I'm getting more used to it. For me, it's that instant, just like, it is very much just a yes or a no. Like, And I think the hardest part about that, well, I mean, I'm also emotional. So I got like that extra layer, like paying attention to how I'm feeling when I get that first gut response. But for me, the most difficult part is understand like, well, how do you know that? Like, like how does my body just know that? Because then my head jumps in. It's like, well, why would you prejudge? You don't even know what like the whole like, if I was invited to an event, like I initially just go like, no, not for me. But it's like, well, Erin, you didn't even hear what it was or like the details of it. How do you already know it's a no? And I think that's what trips me up constantly. But then I also realized, well, okay, I need time to like let this settle before I respond that yes or no. Like, okay, ask the more details, let the emotions, settle a little. But for me, it very much is just like a yes or no. And I wouldn't say it's like a quick yes or no. It's usually I feel it. I could tell now paying attention to like the lean in. Like I could kind of tell like how my body is reacting if I'm kind of like tensing up or something. It's like, okay, well, what's under that, kind of paying attention. I think also the biggest thing is understanding a maybe is a no, because I think that the overthinking, open head, ajna, like that trips me up so much. The overthinking, it's like, okay, Erin, if it's a maybe and you just can't say yes, just say no. And like, the whole chain of it's like, well, if you just say no to this, something better could come, and trusting that. But for me, my cycle is very much just like an instant yes or no. And trusting that I give myself time. But if I do not give myself time, that's when I regret.
So gate 29, I have twice in my chart. It is my Saturn. And it's fascinating because I have learned so much about myself through that gate. Because, I call it the half-ass to hell yes, right? It's either, because we tend to, if it's not a true yes, we tend to half-ass it. And when we half-ass it, we're just wasting energy, right? And so our head made us said yes, and, we're people that if we say yes, and we're going to go do it. But our energy's like, nah, it's not really what I want. And so we end up half-assing it. And so to me, your gate 29 is the path of devotion. Mm-hmm. It's a path of truly listening to your body and listening to that creative fire that grounds you, and knowing and understanding the difference between what is true passion that is going to take you, the long road, or it's going to burn out really fast. And then you're stuck having to do what you have to do because you said you have to do it, or, being able to say no. So I love that so much. Yeah. I feel that so much.
I should also say I have it 3 times in my chart. It's very dominant. So
where else do you have it?
My Mercury and my Jupiter on all conscious side. So it's this energy. I was like, oh, like it's more than just my sun. Like it's dominant in my sun, but then I'm paying attention. Like this is a theme.
Oh, especially with your Mercury, you talking about it. And next year you're going to have your Jupiter return, or maybe it'll be actually in 2027, because it'll go, Jupiter's going to move into Leo for half the year. And then, so it'll be 2027 that you have your Jupiter return. I'm going to tell you, I had my Jupiter return last year. I sold my house on the day that the Jupiter return, because I'm an astrologer. I know things. The second person that toured my house bought it, and I made a little bit extra, if you know what I mean, because of that Jupiter transit. So I'm just saying, play with that Jupiter transit.
Okay, I'll pay attention.
So you mentioned that you don't want to do business like we have seen it in the past. You are here to forge a new path. Tell me, because we don't really know what that looks like yet. We can only use our intuition. We can only do what feels right for us. And we are the builders of the new paradigm of business. So I'm curious, what has shifted in your own business from, like you said, 6 months ago, from you doing all these things, and how have you pivoted in your business that feels more aligned with you?
I think, just what we're talking about, like that gut reaction. Like I I'm a 4/6. So like my network is everything. And I'm been trying to find those like aligned people. And so like there's a local business group that I love, but at the same time, it's like stepping back and like, Erin, what's your gut telling you every time you show up to that? Like, yes, I should go to this and make connections, but it's getting more in tune like, why are you going to this? Because it's not necessarily like you're not feeling super lit up when you leave. You're not, it's like, I mean, networking is kind of weird altogether. It's, as more of an introvert, it's just kind of like there's a lot of emotions there. But I do know I love people. And so I keep showing up. But it's like paying attention, like, well, how am I feeling afterwards? Because it's one thing to be like super nervous going into it, but then how am I feeling afterwards after it's all over? And it's like paying attention, like, well, you're not super excited when you're leaving. So like maybe you should step back a little bit, maybe find a different group. And so that's kind of where I've been trying to just experiment more, because I know business is so much just experimentation, which, no one really knows what they're doing. And I'm trying to like remember that, like, I don't need to show up perfectly and like do everything like I have it all together. And so there's little things like that. Okay, like, well, where else could I show up and find my people or connect with people? And, luckily we got the internet and I'm able to, tap into different groups online. And another big part of this is like, I don't really enjoy social media either. It's like, it's this pull. It's like, I do love the idea of it, but then it's not that's not the reality when you get on there. And so like, okay, where could I share my knowledge? And so I did start a podcast. It'll be March of last year. I started it. So it's like, okay, well, why don't you just lean more into that? Like just lean into recording my episodes, talking to people through my podcast, and trusting that that is where people are going to connect with me. So it's very much of like, yeah, I probably should be promoting my podcast on social media to get more listeners or broader reach, but it's like, I don't want to. And that I don't want to is good enough. And realizing I don't have to explain myself. I mean, there's no one like watching me. It's not like I got to explain myself to a boss, but at the same time, it's like, I don't have to explain anything. If I say no and I don't want to, that's good enough. And it's hard when you're actually telling that to someone, like having to say no, like I don't want to do that, but just trusting, like I don't need to explain myself. It's a no. And I hope people respect that. So not doing the social media either. I tap in there every once in a while when I actually feel lit up and like I have something to say. And but it's trusting that I'm just going to do my podcast and spend my weeks doing that. And then, I mean, and overall, it's like less things on my plate. And so I think for me, it's really leaning into this idea of like, you could be successful doing like 50% less than what you're actually doing. Like, I think so many of us feel like to be successful, you do have to hustle and push and work hard. And yes, you do need to put work into it, I think. But how much effort you put into it is different from like for everyone. It's like, if I show up and I'm really lit up about my podcast, my energy is coming through, then people are going to feel that. Versus if I just showed up on social media and it was kind of like half-assed and I'm just kind of like, should be here and my words sound nice, but if my energy is not there, people are going to feel that. And I think understanding that for me is so important, to just show up fully. And that doesn't also like, it doesn't mean consistently. Like I will record a bunch of episodes in like a day or two and put them out over a period of weeks, but the holidays came and I didn't record because I actually wanted to take time off. And there's that pressure. It's like, well, no, you're told you need to be showing up consistently. If you don't show up consistently, people are going to go find another podcast to listen to. And it's like, well, no, that's stupid. Why is that even a thing? Like, if they really like what I'm saying, they're going to come back. And so it's like taking, I don't know, part of it is like removing the story. Like removing the story, I think so many of us have been told and that so many of us believe, and just go like, well, no, Erin, you don't want to do it. Just don't do it. And then that's good enough. My energy will come back. I'll start putting more episodes out, but it's like right now I'm happy. And that's good enough because it's more of an internal gauge of success than the external that I think so many of us rely on.
Oh, I agree 100%, 100%. I'm not wearing my watch. And this is very, very strange for me because I've been very connected to Chronos time. But I find that in the middle of the night, I've been taking my watch off, not even knowing it. And more times, especially when I'm doing energy work, I have to take my watch off because I'm being guided to connect to Chronos, or not Chronos, to Kairos time, meaning divine timing, not chronological timing, linear timing that we have been so connected to. And I love what you said about people will search you out through resonance, not through availability. And the reason why I say that is because since we've moved off of social media, people are using email marketing like social media. So they're emailing you 2-3 times a day. So my inbox is now 300 emails a day I have to go through, and there's only 5 emails that I read because it's the person that writes the email, not the message, not what they're selling. I connect to the person. And I love that you say that you're a 6/4. In my archetypal language, I call the 6th line the goddess, right? And the goddess blooms in her own time. And then the 4th line I call the heartist, because I see them as somebody like an art gallery, where they open up their art gallery and they share with everyone. And in this art gallery, there's other artists as well, sharing as well. And they're sharing from a place of heart. And right, so I always call the 4th line the heartist. And so I love how you're bridging that into your business, right? You are using your own divine timing and not connecting to the linear time that many of us are no longer connected to. And there are going to be people, 80% of the population are very connected to that world. But there is a small percentage of us who are moving away from that world and creating the new world. We are the midwives or the mothers of the new world. And we could be rebels and we could have a lot of fire. And that's exactly what we need to forge that path. So I really love how you are forging that path through your own way. Not, and that, we always say it looks selfish or self-care selfish, but it's not, because the more that you take care of yourself, the more energy that radiates from you. And it's truth. Like people can feel truth versus a whole lot of words that mean nothing. And so I truly believe that we are moving into a world of resonance, because let's be real, there's going to be a lot of noise, and there is already. And I found myself this last week getting caught up in the noise again, in the static. And I was meditating this morning, and the word blind rage came through me. And I was like, oh, that is the frequency that some of the world is operating in right now, blind rage. And so they're not seeing, right? Where if you can take that step back, you have a different type of vision that you can see a path forward. And I feel that's where we are going. We are building this new world that is very, very different from the linear timestamp that we've been so conditioned to work in.
No, I 100% agree. And I think the hardest part, I think, is tuning out the noise, because it comes from every direction. It's very hard to ignore. But what I found is a good practice is, a year or 2 ago, a coach said, just sit outside for 20 minutes every day, doing nothing. And it's amazing how difficult that is to do. And then now I'm used to it, and it feels really good. Like 20 minutes flies by. But initially it's like, I can't just sit here. I got all this stuff to do. Like, you're going through your to-do list, what you're going to do next, but it's like, no, just sit there, observe, like reconnect with nature, like watch the birds, feel the wind, like all of those, just light up your other senses. And just like the amount of calm that brings me, being able to just keep tuning in to myself. And it's amazing what thoughts, what ideas come up, like things I've been ruminating on for weeks. Suddenly I just get dropped in. It's like, oh, there's the answer. Like, but I allowed myself that space to not just be blindly moving through the world. And I love what you said about like focusing on me is not selfish, because I do believe it's kind of like the world is this giant puzzle, And we're all individual puzzle pieces. And when we're living out who we're here to be and what we're here to accomplish, like the world is just fitting into that perfect puzzle. Everyone finds their little spot, and we're just so much like happier and more excited and alive. And that makes me really happy to think about, like thinking about how happy people could be if we were just being ourselves and doing what we wanted to be doing. And obviously there's responsibilities, like you got to take care of your kids, or like there's certain things in, you know, a job that we might not feel really lit up about. But if you could focus more on what you really enjoy doing, that like 80% of the time, how much happier and I think more joy there would be in the world.
I love that so much. And that's something that I'm working with right now. And that's part of my ego death that I'm working with right now. And this bridges us to the question that I wanted to ask you. So you are a darn good business coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of in this energy right now of, it's kind of hard to be a business coach when if you are not working with the old model of business, right? The funnels, working with funnels, working with offer stacking, working with adding all this value. What's the word, like scaling, upscaling, what's the word? Scaling
Yeah.
the business, right?
Yeah.
When I started back in 2020, that was the noise, that was the world, right? You built your funnels, you offer stacked, you added so much value, you did all the things. And now we're burnt out from that. Like, we don't want that anymore. I don't need more fluff, right? And my message is always like, don't add more fluff to your stuff because you don't think you're good enough. And so I'm curious, now that we're moving away from all of that, as a darn good business coach, how is it that you are guiding your clients?
I think for me, I think it's good and bad. Since I started my business in 2022, it was kind of like on the tail end of that really big like 2020 boom of coaches. So I wasn't like hooked onto that, like, wow, I'm seeing all of the success from those models. When I finally hopped on and started my business and, got built up and like started searching for like an answer to help me, those methods weren't actually working as much anymore. And they're definitely not working now. And so I think I really wish I hooked onto that 2020 boom, because it's like, where would I be now? Maybe it would have been easier, there's a whole story there, but I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I had to figure out things in a way that felt good to me. And for me, the biggest thing, I hired coaches. I did all the things that a lot of the people were doing. But I think one of like the pivotal moments for me is I was working with a coach. I paid her more money than I had ever spent on a coach. And she was solely telling me like, the only way to be successful is to do a summit. And something in me was like, I don't want to do a summit. Like, I am in no position to do a summit, like right where like my energy, I was dealing with burnout. There was too much going on. And something just inside me said, I don't want to. And then it kind of like broke, I shouldn't say broke trust, but it kind of snapped me out of this, like, I don't know, this world I was thinking like the coach had all the answers. And I have a business degree. I have so much like corporate experience in business, but suddenly it's like I put myself in my own business. I have to make everything happen. And suddenly it's just like all that confidence goes away. It's like, well, no, Erin, you know better than this. It just like snapped me out of that reality when that coach said that. And I was just like, no. And then I started realizing, has she ever really asked me anything about myself and what I want? And she has on a high level, but it wasn't the depth. Like, what do you deeply want? It's more than just how does your energy work? Just keep pushing. Well, if you're tired, take a nap. It's like, well, no. And so I had been doing human design maybe a year at that point. And so I'm like, well, I really actually need to start not just taking in information and actually start embodying my human design. But I realized like that was the key, because how much it helped me in understanding my energy, like just being a generator, not great if I initiate things. I need to respond. Just this like super high level human design, how much that helped me. It's like, well, I need to pull that into my work with my clients, help them deeply understand themselves, because I mean, in a way, I'm a generator. That's a huge chunk of the population. So a lot of people are functioning like me. But what about, the projectors? Those I have worked with reflectors, like they are dealing with so much more internal conflict. It's like, okay, we need to calm that internal conflict, get you back to yourself, like recognize your power. And yeah, maybe you do need more breaks in the day. Maybe you need to step away and get outside to re-energize. You need to you'll be super productive as long as you take those breaks. Or maybe you won't have an intuitive hit to go off and do this new idea, but at least you're aware of these things. It's not like you just don't keep pushing yourself to act like a generator. And so I realized that's the key to my coaching, is that I just don't tell you what to do. I really want to empower you to get more aligned with who you are, what you want, and empower you to make your own decisions from that place. And one thing, I don't really do discovery calls anymore. What I want you to do is it's return to self. And it's like, before you even talk to me, you could look at all my content, my website, all that, but before you even really talk to me, I want you to return to yourself. And it's basically just like a little mini human design reading, so you could get back into your power before you make a decision to work with me on a higher level. Because I think that, I'm not a convincer. I love sales. I could close a sale, but at the same time, I want you to be from an empowered place, not from me showing up, work with me, and telling you all the reasons to work with me, because I think that just throws more noise at people. I want people to step back into themselves and, understand how you make decisions and make a decision from that place, versus me just convincing you or you wanting me to make the decision for you. And so it's finding these little ways to bring you always back to your power. I think empower you is kind of like an overused term, but I just want you to feel super grounded in your choices. And so I think starting there, understanding yourself, then get into okay, the strategy, the funnels, the marketing, all of that. But it's going to come from a place of understanding you and who you are, not me just well, this is what worked for me, this is what's going to work for you. It's no, what worked for me, but that does not mean it's going to work for you. So it's coming back to, what do you actually want to do, and building from that, what feels good to you, and building from that. And I'll guide you and give you, ideas and brainstorm and all that, but I want you to be making empowered decisions for yourself, not just me telling you things.
Oh, 100%. I'm with you there. And I'm in my 7th year of human design. And I remember, back in 2018, 2019, yes, I had to learn all of it, right? So I went, I studied traditional human design, then I studied quantum human design, then I studied the gene keys, then I studied astrology, and I had it all in my pretty little head. But it took years for me to fully embody it, because I'm a projector and a Capricorn rising. And so I was very conditioned to be a workhorse. I was very, very conditioned to do. And a lot of the things that I had to untie was not connecting my self-worth to my net worth, right? So defining my own success, and also productivity. And so my first few years of business, man, I can create all day, every day. I can create products left, right, and center, but they were meaningless, right? It was just head, and now I call it mind candy, right? So there's so much mind candy out there, but once again, it's true embodiment and it's true resonance that to me, you don't have to convince someone. Can I explain how you and I met?
Yeah.
So you and I met at a summit and, in a summit, and I heard you speak, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to work with her, right? I need to work with her. And how fast you were one of the first people to bring a presentation to me. So within days, she had filmed her presentation and had it all ready to go. And that's when it's a true alignment, when there's resonance, when there's this feeling of mutual respect, and really moves the needle so much further than trying to convince somebody that they're going to get something, which is very in the head, right? Instead of tuning into the heart or tuning into the sacral, or for me, it's my intuition, it's my spleen, right? It's really trusting yourself that you know, and you don't need to figure it out, right? Unless you're going to figure it out with your body.
I think that part, the trusting, because even though I feel so lit up about this, and it's like, but I don't see other people doing it. So like, how do I know it's even going to work? But it's just like, no, trusting that's like, if I'm excited, people are going to feel that, and people are going to want to be a part of that. There's no convincing. Like, I have set up my entire like funnel in a way that it's like, you keep making the decisions for yourself in a grounded place. I want you to feel led to the next step naturally. And maybe you do, one thing with me and you're not feeling led to the next. That's okay. I don't want to push you down a funnel and like, oh, limited time offers, or like put all this fear in you, like you have to buy it. Like, it's just icky to me. And so being able to, like, people can make their own decisions. I don't want to force you to work with me, because that's just not going to be a good relationship. Like when we met on the summit, it was like, it just all felt good. I'm like, I want to do this. I'm going to go do it right now. And there was no resistance. There was no procrastination, because I know if like I start procrastinating, it's like, well, Erin, maybe you don't actually want to do this. So it's like when you're just lit up and you're just doing it because you genuinely want to, that is when your energy is flowing correctly. And that's like when you're aligned and all the things, but it's like paying attention to that, I think, is so key. It's just like, okay, I don't know if this is all going to work out. Where is this going to take me? But I'm going to have fun doing it. So, if none of this works out, at least I had a good time. And that's kind of like, I'm an optimist. So it's like, that helps. But at the same time, it's like, it's just all a journey. No one knows what they're doing.
I love what you brought up about the marketing, because there's a chapter, I don't know if you read Rise of the Soulpreneur, but there's a chapter about integrity marketing. And the way that we have been using marketing is trauma-based, right? It's pain point manipulation, it's scarcity, it's lack, it's guru coaching, right? That is the old model. And I love how you're talking about now we're moving into empowerment coaching, right? Like trauma. I don't want to say trauma informed, but integrity coaching, or integrity selling, not coaching, selling and marketing and sharing, from a place of empowerment, right? Like, you're not a stupid person. You've been around the block a few times, so I don't need to convince you, right? You are an empowered buyer. And starting to treat people like empowered buyers versus victims, or versus people that are stupid, which is how we've seen marketing in the past. And so I love that you're a sister of integrity marketing. That makes me so very happy. And I'm so excited to see, to envision what the future is going to be like in the next 20 years, with more soulpreneurs coming online, serving from the heart, serving from resonance rather than from the mind and noise. Do you have like an offer, or do you have something that our viewers can find you at?
Yeah, so there is my podcast where I talk about a lot of this stuff, and I actually give you practical ways to apply it to your business. So that is Rebel to Rise, where business meets human design. You can find it on all the platforms. I'm also on YouTube, if you want to watch my face talk. I think that, like, for me, I have a freebie. It's the Momentum Maker Workbook. And you talked about just more noise being thrown at you, but this is something super duper practical. Like, actually clear out the noise, and it helps you kind of break down, like, what am I just doing because I think I should, or what are the things that are actually going to move the needle? And I throw in some human design into it, so you can kind of like start seeing how human design could fit into your day and just your planning of your weeks. And I think it's a great place for people to start if they're new to human design, or even if you just, the first of the year, like, you want to clear out your to-do list, this is the place to go.
I love that so much. And we will definitely have that in the show notes and in the accompanied blog that will be with this podcast as well. Thank you, Erin, so much for being a guest on my podcast, and for being you 100%. Like I said, when I saw you on that summit, I heard you speaking. I heard the rebel rise. I felt the rebel rise come forth, and I was just like, I need her. She's a kindred soul. She is a soul fractal. And so I'm so grateful that we have connected. And I hope that we will continue to collaborate in the future.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Tammy, for having me. This has been so much fun.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye.